Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the weekly Wednesday for the Financial Freedom newsletter, where every week, every Wednesday, we delve into something inspirational, motivational, something excerpt taken from the Financial Freedom weekly newsletter. Wherever you are, if you're listening on Spotify, on iTunes, Google, be sure to click the like, subscribe, share, comment. And without ado, let's get into the show. Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. I'm really excited about today's guest, Tomer Soran. It's really interesting. He's got a really interesting skill set, and he helps entrepreneurs clear time and 10x their efforts by placing curated expert VAs in their business. We're going to talk about all of the problems with hiring, firing, automation. It's really going to be talking about clearing out hours in your week while making more. So, Tomer, welcome.
Thanks so much, Chris. Hey, Tomer here, everybody. We've been managing virtual assistant teams for 10 years now. Started with the e-commerce platforms and really built that out to a place where it was completely automated, to a place where I had enough time that I was going, what do I do next? And I realized that helping other entrepreneurs with virtual assistant staff and putting those systems in place so they can feel that freedom of automation is what I decided to focus on. And that's what we do at Effortless Hire. We place people for you, or we have certain turnkey solutions for certain elements.
Yeah. It's interesting because this whole idea, because as entrepreneurs, a lot of the people on the podcast, they're, doctors or they're entrepreneurs, they run their own business, solopreneur. And one thing I had a conversation with is they have this frustration is this idea of hiring. So either they can't hire good people, or they only hire crappy people, and people quit and leave. So what's going on?
Sure. So I think a lot of times the bad experiences that people have come from a lack of experience and a lack of at-bats, right? How many times do you attempt, and do you learn from that process? And the other element of it is how much time do you spend on a task? And when I say that, I'm referring to the hiring portion of it. So for example, you may have just tried a Fiverr person or a random Upwork person for a certain task, and that is a very common starting place. I often actually recommend that for Fiverr if you've never hired before, because it's a great way to test the waters, get your delegation chops down. But when it comes to a full team member who's going to be there, who's actually going to be more than just a robot, the best employees are ones who elevate your business and bring more to the table than you have even asked them to do, right? Who have autonomy, who have ownership over it. And the way to do that is to put in the time to really interview a lot of people. And that's what we've kind of removed, because that is a decent barrier to entry.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I had interesting with, an editor, and I would kind of lay everything out, and then she would come back with 10 more questions. I was just I just got to find some AI solution software. I have it 80% of the way, it's not quite there, but it's one of my stories.
100%. And I often recommend, by the way, whenever we talk to a person, oftentimes most people don't know exactly what kind of VA or staff to place. And so the first things we do in our consult is let's look at everything you do all day, all week, and let's remove that lowest hanging fruit, right? To help you clear time. And as often as possible, we like to put in software or AI solutions. The problem is then you go, great. And then you go, well, who's going to actually do those? Who's going to manage that solution? Oftentimes that's somebody else. And so we've just created supercharged VAs who can manage and handle AI tools and tasks.
Yeah. Since we're on the topic of VAs, and a lot of people have VAs now. So where's the best place to find them? And I heard Philippines, they have really good ones. and how do you use them to grow your business? How do you delegate all of that?
Sure. So when it comes to sourcing and finding virtual assistants, yeah, we do a good amount of our sourcing from the Philippines, primarily because of the resources that are there and the mindset that they have, as well as the loyalty. We found a lot of success there. But we also do a good amount of South American virtual assistants as well. In terms of where to find them, there's many different platforms. One of the biggest ones in the Philippines for the Philippines is onlinejobs.ph. Big fan of them. It's great. You do still have to, like, if you posted a job for just a general VA, you're going to get 200 to 500 applicants. And so you want to weed those out, and you want to do an initial clear out before you even reach out to anybody. Then you want to invite a few of them to interview, but before you do, have them send you a speed test of their computer setup, etc. Make sure that you are getting their resumes, understanding them. It's very similar to hiring in the US. These are other people, they're real people who have real lives. And one of the biggest things that we always aim at is someone with a good home or stable life, because you want someone who's going to be there with you for the long haul. My longest VA has now been with me for almost 9 years. And that comes from being selective. And, you know, when you don't have the time to do that, then it's worth bringing somebody else in so you can continue to focus on your business. An agency like myself can bring you those vetted people. We vet through all those 400, 500 people, interview all of them multiple times, and give them exams before they even get to me. And one of the big things that I recommend is to trust your gut. That vibe check is so important because you're going to be spending time with this person. If you have a good hunch about it, if you feel like they understand you, it's going to go a lot better because you're going to be spending time with them. In regards to how you can utilize them, there's so many ways. To grow your business, let's say you are in digital products or a coach, something like that, that is, you know, pretty low, I'd say low lift in terms of capital to start, but very quickly accelerate. For things like that, it could be from every element of it: acquiring leads, making sales, fulfilling for those customers, and continuing to market as well. So we can go down the line. First, I would say from the marketing perspective, you need to have a baseline of who are you, what's going on. And most coaches know that they need to show up consistently on social media, for example, so that they have a base of organic content. And so one of the key offerings that we bring are content editors, so that you can just film and speak naturally about your expertise, and then someone else can handle it. So you don't have to waste 50 hours a month editing content so you can post daily. That's one place. But then let's say handling your leads, managing a CRM just to do the sales elements of it is there. And then maybe you want to build a course. A lot of people I know, and we've set up them with specifically course building and management VAs, where they'll help you set up the software, Kajabi, one of those other ones, edit your videos all the way through, right? And help you build that out, and then even manage a community, because I know a lot of coaches do that, right? Those are some of the short examples. Opportunities are quite endless, and one of the interesting things is once you get a taste, your mind starts going, and you're like, oh yeah, why am I still doing this or that? Why am I still doing that myself? Is the key question, right? The goal is to have you working at the highest level in your business and on your work as possible. Work on your business, not in it, right?
Yeah, that's a great quote. Which bring me, it's almost like scaling peoples. And you talk about clearing 20 hours in your week while making more actionable steps, and talk about that.
Certainly. I think a lot of times people, I say, let's clear 20 hours out of your week, right? I think a lot of people think, where am I going to find those? That's half my job? Well, if you realize that you are probably not doing the highest, best work that you could be doing, then you see it. So the path that I walk people through, the exercise that I suggest, if you're looking for it, do it at home. Write out a list of literally everything you do all day and all week. Then try and get even a little bit more granular with them. Because let's say let's say you're a podcast host. Let's say you are going to send out a few proposals or requests for people. That also requires some research on your end, assembling the email, putting it out there and posting it to those different platforms or to reaching out to people like myself. Doing all that research, for example, could take hours and hours, and you can remove that, for example, by giving it to a VA. The benefit is that they can also multiply those efforts. So instead of, let's say I wanted to send personalized reports to every single client, which we do, then I would have to collect everything that they've been doing, everything that's been done for them, assemble it, make it pretty, put it together and send it out. That would take many hours. And so I would rather pay somebody at a fraction of the cost of my time to build those and put those out, because then you can really improve the product that you're providing to people, right? The service that you're doing. So what I suggest is you list out everything that you do all week, then highlight what are things that are actually the thing that move your business forward the most. And if they can be done by somebody else, that's great. And if they can only be done by you at the moment, that's fine. That's actually a good thing to know. And then you go, that is what I need to focus on. Everything else needs to be destroyed or delegated. A lot of times people think that everything they do is what they should be doing. But the question to ask yourself is, if I honestly put this off for a month or it disappeared off my plate and never got done, would anything change in my business? There's a lot of times when it's like, no, nothing would change. And you can probably just cross that out without even doing it. We're often giving ourselves more work than we think we need to do. Yeah. So when I suggest people place VAs, I do so from a mix of clearing things that you do all week that you don't need to be doing, and things that multiply your efforts that should need to be done, but they can be done at a much higher volume. So maybe it's outreach, for example, right, which is a classic virtual assistant use case. You can reach out or send personalized emails to 10 people, or you could have somebody there who it's their full-time job and still only costs you what's the equivalent of about an hour of your work to work all day and send many, many times more emails or personal messages to these potential customers. That's how you leverage things, right? In the same way that when it comes to ad spend, people feel very comfortable spending hundreds of dollars and going, this is my customer acquisition cost. Okay, well, what if you had all these other tools in place, and some of them were human tools that, human resources, that's why they're called that, to actually bring you customers or to execute for them. It allows a lot of people to provide very high value with a very lean team. And I think that's very important for solopreneurs, new entrepreneurs, and even ones that, are scaling past 1 million and 5 million.
Yeah, really interesting. One final question is, because we mentioned this idea with bootstrapping. So when should entrepreneurs consider, hiring versus, bootstrapping? Even in this day and age of AI software can do a lot of things for you. What are the factors to consider?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the stages are, first, you have to get clarity on exactly what your business and offering is. I think a lot of people start and are experimenting with things. And I think at that stage, if you need help with certain experimentations, that's better for like gig level hires people like On5 or Upwork who are going to help you with just like one task for a little bit to just get you off the ground. Once you've solidified that offering and you're like, okay, now these are the things I need to do to scale this, then I suggest bringing somebody in. Because if you identify, okay, I've now reached my capacity for being able to provide the service, but also to find the new clients, figure out which one of those is more valuable at the moment. Most likely, there's operational things that you can remove. That's when you bring somebody in, because you're going to be able to double or 10x your business by removing yourself from day-to-day operations. So I would say get started, get sales, unless the sales you need providing are dependent on somebody to provide that service, then that's okay to bring somebody in. But I say start with gigs and then go directly there once you have a couple paying customers, because that'll help you see what the systems are that need to be in place for you to operate, which actually leads me to an important point here, that a lot of people choose not to go virtual assistant route because they don't feel like their business is ready to plug somebody in. They feel like, oh, I don't have the training manuals or the standard operating procedures built out, and I don't even have the time to do that because I'm so busy on the business. A good virtual assistant, and we make sure all our VAs are trained on this, come in and build their training manual as you show them what to do. A good VA is going to come in with expertise in your field. So they already know how to manage an inbox, do bookkeeping and reports, etc., whatever that specific person is. What's important is, how do you like to do it? And so you just show them, and we like to use an AI recording tool like a Fathom or Otter. And by recording that education, they get the video and a transcript, and they can utilize that to build the training manual from the start. So just by showing somebody, you only have to teach it once, maybe a few clarifying questions after the fact, but it's actually going to even help you as you're an educator here, essentially. You know that by teaching, you learn better and you see where the flaws and where the holes are. And so that's going to help a lot. Plus, by the person who's actually operating that routine, they're going to see where the lags are, where the slack is that can be removed, or where there's additional efficiencies that can be added, because they're in it, doing it repetitively, and we'll see where that is. To summarize, start, get your business going, make sure your offer is clear and that you are you have some success in terms of a few sales, then place somebody in there to help clear your time so you can focus either on improving your product or growing your business.
Yeah, awesome. And how can people contact you, follow you, reach out to you, and look into your services?
Certainly. So follow me on Instagram at Tomer Soran, TomerSoran. And you can also go to Effortless and send us a DM, send us a message. We like to figure out exactly what you need so that we provide the best service. Oftentimes, we either want to make sure we're clearing the things that you really don't want to be doing or the things you do all day. So let's figure out what works best for you.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Of course.
And for all the audience out there listening, Tomer, for coming on, really just leveraging your time working on the business versus in and scaling it, how to hire. All of his resources will be in the links and show notes. And with that, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I hope you really enjoyed that wonderful, inspirational, motivational piece. Again, wherever you are listening, if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We're on everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Audible. And without much ado, be sure to thank this show's sponsors, and we'll see you next week.